Have you ever wondered why you work yourself to exhaustion, yet peace still waits outside the door? The packed schedule, the endless notifications, the swelling clutter in a small room, and still, your heart longs for a single breath. What if I told you the Japanese have quietly practiced certain habits for hundreds of years? Habits that Western science is only now learning to name, habits that can rewire the brain and flip on the switch of happiness. Not productivity hacks, not a morning checklist, but small rituals, steady, grounded, just enough, yet profoundly effective. You do not need your life to transform overnight. You only need one right gesture, one slower rhythm, one pause between two tasks. The Japanese call it the spirit of just enough, not excessive display, not careless neglect. When you pour a cup of tea at the right temperature, when you take an extra turn down a shaded street, when you stop at 80% full, your brain remembers. Stress softens. Joy rises like fine bubbles on the surface of hot water. These habits may seem like magic from the outside, but in truth, they are very ordinary. Bathing in warm water before sleep so the body can soothe itself, tidying a small corner so the mind can quiet down, eating with the seasons so the body can converse with earth and sky, walking half a step slower to finally hear yourself. They demand no new devices. Only one small choice, repeated each day. Less but consistent, slower but deeper, lighter yet lasting. If you are weary from running, try standing still with me for a moment. Not to miss life, but to truly touch it. In this video, I will guide you through 10 Japanese habits that seem mysterious, yet are surprisingly close at hand. Each one a bridge between science and serenity, between minimalism and inner wealth, so that from the very next moment, you know exactly where to begin and how to begin. 1. Walking and staying active regularly. Morning in Tokyo. I step out from a narrow alley, pass a convenience store, and a vending machine glowing quietly in the half-light. I cross rows of low houses, turn into a small street where shops, offices, and apartments share the same block. Within just minutes on foot, everything I need for the day is already within reach. The Japanese do not walk much because it is romantic. They walk because the city is woven this way. Compact blocks, safe pedestrian lanes, trains that arrive on time, parking lots so expensive that driving becomes the very last choice. When the rhythm of the train stretches like a thread of time, people naturally quicken their pace to catch it. And from there, the habit forms, not exercise, but living. Here, 6,000 to 7,000 steps a day arrive as naturally as breathing, in contrast with 4,000 to 5,000 in many Western cities, where zoning separates homes from shops, and every small errand demands a car. I want to invite you into this rhythm of life, not to become Japanese, but to return to your own body. Steps have memory. They remember the hill you once climbed while tired, the beat of your heart after a long day, the breath you released when you chose stairs instead of an elevator. With steady walking, the heart grows stronger, weight finds its balance, bones and muscles tap back into rhythm. Endorphins quietly open a window in the mind, letting light pour in. The mind feels lighter because even 20 minutes beneath trees can lower cortisol, like someone slowly turning down the volume of stress. The simple repetition of steps forward, back, is walking meditation. When thoughts are tangled, do not resist them. Just tie your breath to your feet. Inhale as the heel touches down. Exhale as the toe glides away. Walk slow to return fast, my teacher once said. Fast back to a calm inner home. The Japanese train their bodies in ways that feel ordinary, alternating fast and slow. 5 minutes walking briskly beyond the usual pace, 2 minutes easing off, then repeat. That small habit expands the lungs, strengthens endurance, sharpens metabolism like a well-oiled machine. No stadium needed, no costly watch. Just a sidewalk not too crowded, and a little determination. Fast, slow, self-aware, a tiny motto for the busy who still long for true strength. If your life is in New York, Dallas, or London, where cars feel like extensions of the body, let the shift begin with one simple choice. Step off the bus or train one stop early. Take the stairs in buildings under 10 floors. Turn a short meeting into a walking meeting around the block. After dinner, invite your family to circle the neighborhood, turning it into a household ritual, just as the Japanese keep small ceremonies to nurture what is large. Park a little farther away at the supermarket. Wander slowly among the aisles, as if strolling through a morning market. When the phone rings, rise and walk instead of sinking deeper into the chair. If you work at a desk, a standing table reminds the body to change posture by the hour. Every stretch is a way of reconnecting with the forgotten map of your body. Nature is the quiet tutor of footsteps. Beneath trees, beside water, along park trails, sleep comes easier, the mind clears, because the body receives the signal of safety that concrete cities struggle to send. In Tokyo, you find wide paths, clear crossings, low crime. An elderly man with a walker, a child on a tiny bike, each has their place. In busy districts, the pace lifts naturally. In quiet corners, you can listen to the rhythm of shoes on stone. Use your map app to trace a new route each day, piecing familiar fragments of the city into a new mosaic. Every path is a lesson, a note for those who love to explore. Do not turn walking into a heavy duty. Weave small joys into it. A podcast you have been waiting for, an audiobook left unfinished, or 5 minutes of silence to listen to breath and footsteps. Set a soft goal, discover a new cafe by walking there once a week, or join a weekend walking group. So, joy has companions, and habit has witnesses. When you are busy, even the first 2,400 steps matter. When you have time, 10,000 steps open a new sense of endurance. Little is precious, steady is strong, a reminder like a string tying you to the practice. And if today all you manage is one extra staircase, one loop around the block, one stop less on the train, treat it as a door already opened. In Japan, people stand to the left of the escalator to leave the right clear. Within each small courtesy, the community is preserved. With yourself, leaving one lane open each day for your own footsteps is also a kind of courtesy toward your body. Walk steady, mind at peace. 2. Drinking green tea daily. Rain falls lightly as I open the cupboard and reach for a Kyusu teapot, its ceramic body warmed by time. On the table, a freshly opened bag of Sencha releases the fragrance of young grass. I am not looking for a drink that excites. I am opening a small door into gentle clarity. In Japan, that door was first opened in the 9th century, when monks brought tea leaves from China to keep their minds clear during meditation. Later, samurai also turned to tea not for display, but to soothe the heaviness of wine. And through generations, tea moved from temple to kitchen, from swordsmanship to daily life, becoming a ritual of peace. In the 16th century, Sen no Rikyu distilled the way of tea into 4 pillars: harmony, respect, purity, and tranquility. With each cup poured, the Japanese pour an inner order as well: small tea, wide mind. If you grew up with coffee, allow me to offer you another kind of awakening. In a cup of 240 milliliters, green tea holds about 30 milligrams of caffeine, enough to lift the eyelids, not enough to race the heart. At the same time, L-theanine, an amino acid, calms the nervous system like a hand placed gently on the shoulder, making alertness deep yet serene. Awake yet still, that is the briefest message of tea. The chemistry need not be complicated. Catechins, especially E, G, CG, stand like quiet gatekeepers, clearing fatigue at the cellular level, helping the heart run smoother, the skin age more slowly, memory less scattered on busy days. You may find yourself less drained by afternoon, your face less marked by stress, your sleep more complete when night arrives. But tea is not only chemistry, tea is rhythm. The water should not be at a hard boil. Just 158 to 176 degrees Fahrenheit for Sencha. About 1 minute is enough, as if reminding you that rushing has never been the secret of sweetness. Matcha is different. The powder is sifted fine, whisked with a chasen until the foam rests like a thin cloud. Its flavor is strong, its caffeine higher, fitting for a morning of many tasks. Hojicha carries the brown of fire, the taste of roasted grain, low in caffeine, perfect for an evening when you want warmth in your stomach without wakefulness. And Genmeisha is like a charming folktale, Sencha paired with roasted brown rice, fragrant like popcorn, steeped for about 45 seconds at 180 degrees Fahrenheit for a cheerful mouthful. Each variety is a different song from the same orchestra. different yet in harmony. You do not need to memorize formulas, you only need to listen closely to your tongue and your stomach. I often replace my second coffee of the day with a small pot of Sencha. Mornings belong to Matcha when the calendar is full. Afternoons, a cup of Hojicha lowers the gear. 3 cups spread out, no sugar, sometimes a squeeze of lemon to soften bitterness and wake the digestion after a heavy lunch. If your stomach grows unsettled, drink tea between meals so iron, especially from plant sources, absorbs without interruption. If sleep is hard to find, let green tea stay outside your door after 3 or 4 in the afternoon. Your gate to peace will close on its own. Right amount, right time, a small discipline that lets the benefits unfold completely. In the office, a Kyusu teapot beside the computer can become a bell of breath. Each time you pour water, you rise, you stretch, your blood moves differently. Instead of reluctant stretching, you stretch through a gentle ritual. At home, a small tray with cup, pot, and hourglass can turn a kitchen corner into a private tea room. Invite friends not to impress, but to share a common breath. Tea was born to connect. One pot, many hearts. In that simplicity, Japanese hospitality omotenashi needs no words, only the quiet act of filling another's cup before your own. For age and heart, tea is a trustworthy companion. Regular cups make LDL more obedient, vessels more flexible, blood pressure calmer, blood sugar steadier. But like all precious things in life, tea asks for a tender boundary. 3 to 5 cups a day is perfect for most. Beyond that, restlessness, indigestion, or lowered iron may appear. If you take medication or are sensitive to caffeine, listen to your body before listening to any routine. Just enough is true grace, a small reminder not to turn good into excess. Finally, I want you to try a day that begins with matcha, pauses at noon with a short cup of sencha, and ends at night with warm hojicha. In every cup, you are not just drinking leaves and water. You are keeping a covenant with yourself, to pay attention, to respect, to cleanse, to rest. Rikyu's 4 characters are poured from the pot into you. And if today you only manage 3 minutes to measure water, to watch green turn into pale gold, that alone is meditation, light yet lasting, as an unknown master once said. You sip, and the world, no matter how loud outside, falls half a tone quieter. 3. Eating simple, fresh, and fermented foods. At a small market near the train station, the fishmonger lays out cuts of the sea still glinting with silver. Beside them, baskets of mustard greens, bunches of daikon white as porcelain, blocks of freshly pressed tofu, still warm to the touch. I stop at the miso stall, wooden barrels, fragrant with fermented soy, and think of a very Japanese lesson. A meal is not a performance, but a kind encounter between body and nature. The Japanese call this way of eating washoku, a quiet rhythm where fish, vegetables, soy, seaweed, rice, and green tea share one table. Less animal fat, less refined sugar, less heaviness for the stomach. Simple yet enough, whispers every bowl of plain rice. Back in the kitchen, I rinse the rice, set the pot, prepare a bowl of miso soup with scallions and wakame, steam seasonal vegetables, grill a small piece of fish seasoned just enough, and add a dish of tsukemono crisp pickles. When the rice is done, its steam carries the scent of grain. No drowning sauces, no sugar to disguise flavors. Everything stands in its own nature. The logic of washoku is so simple it feels humble. Fiber, vitamins, minerals. Omega-3 from fish lightens the heart's load. Soybeans and tofu offer clean plant protein. Seaweed brings trace minerals. Portions are small enough for the palate to listen, never pushing the stomach to excess. What you feel is not only flavor, but a biological rhythm returning to its right pace. Light belly, clear mind. Fermentation is the quiet magic of the Japanese kitchen. Miso, natto, tsukemono send armies of helpful microbes into the gut, making digestion work like a clean city. Absorption improves, blood sugar steadies, immunity behaves. Natto brings vitamin K2, like ropes holding bones firm. Miso carries isoflavones and antioxidants to shield the skin from time. Well-made pickles add natural enzymes for digestion. But perhaps the most tender gift is mental. When the gut is calm, the mind is less noisy. Warm belly, quiet heart, is the invisible reminder of a plain bowl of soup at dawn. If you are used to American meals, thick cuts of red meat, sweet sauces, oversized portions, begin with the rule of add before subtract. Add steamed vegetables beside the main dish. Add dried seaweed into soups. Add a bowl of miso in the morning. Then slowly reduce red meat at dinner. Swap it once or twice a week for lean fish. Pour soy sauce more sparingly, so umami lifts flavor without overpowering. Your body will respond quickly. Deeper sleep after lighter meals, afternoons less sluggish, the mind less fogged by sugar. And even if you are not ready for a full change, keeping the structure of Ichiju Sansai one soup, 3 sides, is already half the journey. Fewer dishes, more meaning, the table seems to whisper. I remember my first Japanese breakfast at a family inn. A small bowl of rice, a slice of salted fish, miso soup, pickles, a sheet of nori to wrap. The energy did not spike and crash like it would after a pastry. It flowed evenly, like a river without steep banks. In that rhythm, you work with more depth, need less coffee, and by noon, your stomach is clear enough to sense what it truly needs. The difference is not in exotic foods, but in how the familiar is treated, steaming and grilling instead of deep frying, fresh and seasonal instead of over-processed, seasoning just enough to honor flavor, not to hide it. Less spice, more essence, a small motto taped to the kitchen cabinet. Okinawa was once known for extraordinary longevity, perhaps for many reasons, but meals rich in plants, sweet potatoes, soy, and vegetables played a leading role. The lesson is not to copy exactly, but to carry the spirit. Choose whole, complex foods so blood sugar does not dance wildly. Choose modest portions so the body has room to breathe. Choose local seasons so each bite is a thank you to the land. If you live in Los Angeles or Houston, Asian markets are open doors. If not, choose what is close. Greens, fresh fish, tofu from the nearest supermarket. At least one fermented food each day. Even yogurt, if miso or natto, are not yet at hand. Long transformation begins with what is near. Near is lasting, not distant luxury. The techniques are everyday. Steam vegetables with a pinch of salt to keep color and taste. Grill fish at medium heat. Finish with lemon for brightness. Mix miso with hot water that is not boiling, so the enzymes are not angered. Sprinkle toasted sesame over rice for gentle richness. Use small bowls so the hand relearns the language of just enough. Eat slowly, chew well, ask yourself, am I 80% full? If so, put the chopsticks down and let the body finish the rest. This is not ascetic ritual, it is learning to listen. And when the craving for crunch comes, try a bite of well-made pickle. The desire will quiet with a touch of natural acid. Full before stuffed, a small charm for those who eat with emotion. At the end of the meal, I pour a cup of green tea and look back at the table. Nothing flashy to show, yet a sense of cleanliness travels from tongue to chest to belly. Washoku, it turns out, is not about conquering appetite. It teaches reconciliation. Between worry and desire, between salty and sweet, between the self and nature, lies a middle rhythm where the body is honored. Harmony is health, the gentle conclusion of a home meal where freshness and fermentation work quietly like morning light. Not loud, but steady, strong enough to change a life if given the chance each day. 4. Taking hot baths. Evening comes. After a day of moving between crowded train cars and glaring screens, I sit on a low stool before the bath, place a small bucket at my feet, and open the warm water. Like Japanese mothers do for their children, I pour water over my shoulders and neck, letting the dust of the day wash away before lowering my body into the tub. In Japan, they call it Ofuro. When the water rises from the earth, it is Onsen. When the bath opens to the sky, it becomes Rotenburo. Wherever it is, the ritual holds the same gentle order. Cleanse the outside before soaking. Keep the shared water pure as a gesture of respect for others. In that order, I hear the whisper of Shinto purification, not only of the body, but of invisible fatigue. Clean first, calm after, a small proverb simple yet enduring. Warm water embraces the muscles, blood vessels opening like windows to a breeze. Tension leaves the fibers, knees stop their complaints, the back burdened by the day begins to release. You could call it exercise without shoes. Circulation improves, oxygen reaches places long forgotten by sitting, metabolic waste flows out with the current. As body temperature rises slightly, the body remembers with a gentle drowsiness, for when you step out, the temperature falls and melatonin enters. Night comes and sleep sinks deeper. Heat to sleep, a secret too obvious to hide. I recall my first time in an old sento, a hinoki tub fragrant with cedar, steam curling like low clouds. Old and young sat on stools, washing, speaking softly, then easing slowly into the bath. Shared water stays clean, not because anyone is perfect, but because each person sees themselves as part of the others. In an onsen in the mountains, wind slides over stone. Sometimes a red leaf falls on the surface, and silence becomes language. In that silence, meditation is not forced. The body meditates on behalf of the mind. Quiet yet clear, the four words of the way of tea, harmony, respect, purity, tranquility, flow into the ritual of water. Bringing Ofuro into your home is not difficult. A tub deep enough, water at around 99 to 104 degrees Fahrenheit, filled nearly to the shoulders, and 10 to 15 minutes for an evening ritual. Before soaking, wash yourself clean as a gesture of respect for your own body. A cotton cloth to scrub, a small dipper to pour water over the shoulders. If you wish, a handful of Epsom salt, a few drops of cedar or cypress oil to deepen the night's fragrance. If not, plain water is already enough. Do not bring your phone into the bath. Bring your breath. Inhale for 4 counts. Hold for 2. Exhale for 6. Continue until you feel your chest widen by 1 more beat. Step out. Dry with a soft towel. Wear light clothing. Pour a warm cup of tea. There is nothing luxurious here, only the agreement of body and mind. Little is enough, the tub whispers to the darkening house. Science does not resist the poetry of warm water. As vessels expand, diastolic pressure can ease. Blood sugar steadies itself for those who must be mindful. The dull ache of muscles, neck, back, knees often retreats after a nightly soak. Some evenings you may feel lighter in a way that is hard to name. Endorphins are the laboratory's word, but in life it is simply ease of breath. Studies speak of deeper sleep, of moods softening, but even if you never read a single chart, the body has already offered proof in its own calm. Warmth heals, the simplest and clearest explanation. And yet, water is like fire, gentle but bounded. Do not let it grow too hot. 104 degrees Fahrenheit is already an embrace. Do not soak too long, 10 to 20 minutes so the heart does not rush. Before and after, drink a glass of water to replace what sweat leaves behind. After a heavy meal, wait until the stomach has released its claim on blood before bathing. If you are pregnant, have heart conditions, unstable blood pressure, or dizziness, speak with a doctor. First safety is a part of healing. Always enter and leave the tub slowly. Gentleness in water is compassion toward yourself. Slow is wise. The wet floor reminds you with every step. Tonight, when the city has drawn its curtains, you may try this ritual like a letter to your body. Cleanse, soak, be still. If you like, place a wooden board across the tub for rest. If the home is small, a standard bath is already miracle enough. No elaborate fragrance, no dramatic candles, only your consent to quiet the noise and let water speak the rest. For the Japanese, bathing is not the last act of stress relief. It is a daily covenant between human and peace. Water keeps its word. You step out and know that at least tonight, the body has been returned to itself, warm, clean, and ready for deep sleep. 5. Cleaning the bathroom. In the morning, when last night's steam still lingers thinly on the mirror, I hang a hand towel on the hook and open the window slightly. A breeze stirs the curtain, carrying with it a faint dampness, the kind of smell that, if left unnoticed, grows slowly into a nameless fatigue. In Japan, the bathroom is regarded as a small shrine within the home, a place where water washes away the old day and returns the body to its natural state before sleep or before a new morning. Cleaning here is not something to rush through, but a ritual, calm, steady, respectful. I remind myself of a simple phrase: cleanliness is respect, respect for myself, for those who live with me, and for the water flowing through my body. I begin with breath. A long inhale, a slow exhale, then I let my hands move across each surface. the speckled mirror, the sink marked with toothpaste, the shower glass streaked with water, the baseboards where mold likes to settle. Each spot holds a story, the mirror reflecting my face every morning. When it clouds, the mind clouds too. The sink where I wash before eating, if dirty, peace of mind stumbles. I dampen a microfiber cloth, wipe top to bottom so dust and water do not return to what is already clean. From above to below, from outside to inside, a mindful rhythm of tidying. When glass clears, the whole room seems to breathe wider. At the tub, I recall Sento and Ofuro. In Japan, one washes fully before entering the bath, so the shared water remains pure. Bringing that spirit home means clean first, enjoy after. I sprinkle a thin layer of baking soda along the tub, add drops of apple vinegar, hear the fizz like soft rain. With a gentle sponge, I move in circles into hidden corners. For grout lines, a small brush teaches patience. Warm water runs, foam drifts away, surfaces shine like a word of thanks. I smile, whispering, scrubbing is purifying. Cleaning changes not only the surface, but the air inside the mind. On busy days, I follow a 15-minute ritual, turn on the fan, hang towels to dry, run a squeegee over glass after bathing so drops do not harden into stains, wipe the sink and door handles, finish with the floor using a well-wrung cloth. Small tasks done steadily keep the room almost clean all week. On freer weekends, I give the bathroom a full hour, soaking the shower head in warm vinegar to dissolve buildup, washing bath mats, changing baskets, checking bottles, and discarding the expired. Small but steady, that is how the busy keep order from breaking. Through each motion, I try to keep body and mind aligned, bending with knees, not with back, opening windows instead of holding breath, wearing gloves so hands stay soft and hesitation eases when touching dark corners. I choose the lightest scent cypress wood or lemon, so the room carries a hint of freshness without heavy chemicals. A single bucket replaces dozens of bottles. Vinegar and baking soda stand in for harsher agents unfriendly to lungs. If vinegar is not for you, warm water and gentle soap are enough. What matters is rhythm, not display. Neatness is breathing space. Each time I fold a towel, hang the brush, line bottles neatly with labels forward, the room returns a breeze of emptiness. You may ask, how can cleaning a bathroom be healing? I think of the feeling after a long day stepping into a space without damp smells, without stains, without clutter. Shoulders drop half an inch, the neck lengthens, eyes stop searching for what is wrong. Amid the sound of falling water, the mind finds a ledge. Clean first, calm after. Soaking feet in warm water, washing the face in a clear mirror, smoothing cream on the neck. These gestures happen naturally when the setting invites them. And the setting is what we shape with our hands. I have also learned a Japanese practice. Treat the bathroom as a shared space, even if you live alone. Wipe the doorknob as if someone you love will visit. Clear the shower glass as if your child will bathe next. Place a spare towel as if a guest might stay overnight. When you clean for others, you become gentler with yourself. In a culture where people bow to one another, cleanliness is a way of bowing to life. Reverence in small acts. It may sound strict, but in truth it is a very deep kindness. When I switch off the light and close the door, the dampness has gone out the window, leaving behind a quiet as soft as breath. The bathroom is no longer a wet room to hide, but a space you step into knowing you will leave a little changed, lighter, clearer, kinder. Do not wait for disorder to pile up. Clean so that disorder never arrives. And if today you only have time to hang the towel neatly, run the squeegee once across the glass, or wipe the sink already that is a promise made to tomorrow. Purity is habit, a small motto I keep in mind each time I open the bathroom door. The rest, water and breath, will complete for you. 6. Living in harmony with nature. On the 12th floor of a building in the city, I place my hand on a small pot of basil by the window. The leaves tremble like a nod, their green fragrance breaking open in the stream of hot wind and traffic noise. A handful of soil, a sprout, a shaft of sunlight, enough to remind me that nature is not only in distant mountains and forests. Nature begins where we are still willing to look closely. In Japan, people name this closeness through small rituals. Walking under rows of trees after work, sitting by an onsen, listening to wind comb the surface of water, choosing vegetables in season so food speaks in its true voice. The foundation is ancient. In Shinto, forests, rivers, and mountains all hold kami spirits dwelling within them. Reverence for nature is not romantic. It is a gentle discipline so that human voices do not drown out the garden they pass through. To follow nature is to endure, a short phrase with long breath. I learned to set my rhythm within the rhythm of earth and sky, like placing background music beneath a day. Morning. Open the window, breathe 3 deep rounds before touching a screen. Let my eyes travel past rooftops so the pupils meet true light. Noon. Find a patch of green, a corner of park, a row of trees in a courtyard, or just a wall draped with vines, and sit still for 5 minutes, listening to leaves stir through human voices. Afternoon. Take the longer route by a few hundred steps just because that street has shade. Evening. Turn on warm lights and pour hot water, letting the body know the day has sunk. These small acts do not heal anyone overnight. They simply lift the body out of noisy habit and place it onto a foundation of calm. Close to green, light in the heart, I whisper like a talisman. The forest, if you can reach it, is an invisible bath. Walking among trunks and damp moss, trees release compounds, the lungs adore. That cool, clean scent slows the heart half a beat, lowers the shoulders, stills thoughts that rolled like marbles across glass. The Japanese call it Shinrin-yoku forest bathing, but do not let the name make it sound distant. A strip of trees in the suburbs, a footpath, even a riverside through town, each can wash away the hidden tears of the mind. If you are in New York, Los Angeles, or Paris, do not wait for a true forest before beginning. An ancient tree in a square can already teach you how to breathe. Less forest, more attention. A gentle reminder for the busy. Nature inside the home is not a painting on the wall. It is breath, light, and the smell of soil. A peace lily that filters stale air. A bonsai that trains patience with slow growth. A few branches in a glass jar that invite the eyes to rest. At the table, seasonal vegetables bring sweetness at the right time, spring crisp, summer fresh, autumn rich, winter deep. Washoku is not just calories. It is a calendar written by Earth, teaching the body to eat with the season, not against it. When we eat in season, digestion finds rhythm, sleep deepens, the mind clears of fog. Right season, right health. A proverb small as a grain of salt. Japanese cities taught me a quiet trick of design, weaving parks, riversides, and bike lanes among compact blocks. Because of this, elders still step outside. Children learn traffic lights under tree shade. Workers find places to stretch. When contact with nature becomes infrastructure, health is no longer a lonely individual effort. It is a current of community. If your city is a desert of concrete, build private infrastructure. Map out a shaded walking route on your phone. Dry clothes beneath sunlight from a balcony. Schedule windows to open for fresh air. If no forest, build wind, a kindness to oneself. When in nature, I practice restraint. Do not break branches, do not pick flowers needlessly, do not play music over streams, leave nothing but footprints. I carry basic responsibility: water, sunscreen, a hat, good shoes. With pollen allergies, choose cool, less windy days. With strong sun, go early or late. But most of all, arrive with the right attitude. Come to listen, not to claim. Nature is not a stage. We are only guests who know how to bow. On days when my mind is as crowded as an inbox, I sit under a tree with a notebook. I write 3 lines of gratitude about a streak of sky between rooftops, the smell of rain striking concrete, the shadow of a bird crossing the window, then close my eyes for a minute. When I open them, the same city feels changed. Within concrete, a stream has appeared, small yet enough to make me ask again how I wish to live. With, not over, is the gentle but difficult answer, and one that can be practiced each day. At night, I water the basil, touch the soil, and feel my skin cool. Nature does not ask us to become green all at once. It only asks for fidelity to small gestures. One step beneath shade, one leaf on the table, one meal in season, one window opened on time. Together they form a worldview. Living in harmony with nature is not withdrawal from the world. It is returning to the center so we can walk forward. And each time I hear leaves brushing outside, I remind myself, in the rhythm of earth and sky, the heart finds peace. 7. Finding your purpose. One morning on a crowded train, I notice an old man with an indigo cloth bag, sitting quietly by the window, sharpening a pencil. He opens a notebook and draws one circle, then another overlapping it, as if piecing together something invisible. I think of the word Ikigai, the reason to wake each day not loud like ambition, but warm like the steam of tea. In Japan, Ikigai is not hung on speeches. It lives in the way someone tends a bonsai, pours tea, or walks patiently through an alley to catch the train. Where there is a reason, there is a path, a short proverb, and I feel I want to search for that path, gently yet deeply. Ikigai is not a fixed seat. It is the moving intersection of what you love, what you are skilled at, what the world is missing, and what can sustain your livelihood. It may sound grand, but in Okinawa, where elders live long and smile often, Ikigai may simply be tending a patch of sweet potatoes, teaching children to drum, running a morning fish stall, and greeting customers by name. When you have a reason to step outside, a task that matches both your strength and your heart, your spirit steadies, time loses its emptiness. I remind myself often, meaning is fuel. Without it, the inner engine stalls in the middle of the street. I began seeking Ikigai not with the question, who am I? A question that overwhelms, but with small probes during the day. While walking, I note on my phone, what makes me forget the clock? When does my chest expand with ease? Who says thank you in a way that feels true? These notes are like gathering seeds along the road. In the evening, I spread them out and see which ones want to sprout. A friend in Seattle once said, I do not know my mission, but I know I love repairing things for neighbors. From a broken toaster, she started weekend repair nights, joyful and useful. Soon after, her main job shifted too, designing products more durable, easier to fix. Do what you love, so the world wastes less. Her new mantra, simple yet clear. But Ikigai also needs boundaries. Passion can run you ragged. Talent can turn into burden if you strain to please everyone. I learned to set rhythm. Morning for kindling the fire, 30 minutes writing, 20 minutes on the instrument, 10 pages reading. Daytime for work that pays. Evenings for those I love and for rest. This rhythm is not rigid. It is an elastic band keeping the ball from flying out of hand. Lasting comes from right measure, a quiet proverb guarding me from exhaustion. Curiously, Ikigai often shows itself not when hunted, but when we tend daily rituals. Pouring water into a matcha bowl, whisking until froth is fine, the hand learns patience. Stepping into an Ofuro, sighing into warm water, the body teaches the mind to release. These learnings gather into a foundation. On that ground, purpose is no longer slogan, but habit of turning toward what is useful and meaningful. I felt it clearly when joining a volunteer walking group, calling elderly neighbors as we walked, reminding them to drink water, asking after their medicine. Feet moving, heart opening. By the end, I understood, I need others just as much as others need me. Giving makes you full, a whisper very Japanese. If you are lost in Chicago or London, try a week of 4 rituals. Each morning, write 3 lines about what makes life worth living, even small. Each noon, walk 10 minutes without headphones, only listening to the street. Each afternoon, do one thing for someone. Fix a form, watch a child, carry a box. Each evening, turn off the screen 15 minutes earlier and read 1 page on a subject you want to master. These 4 rituals will not solve life's equation. They simply open a crack for the answer to show its face. At week's end, sit down and choose 1 action to deepen for the next 90 days. Make an appointment with yourself as if with someone important. Write the time, the place, and what enough means. Enough here can continue tomorrow, not perfect from today. Ikigai grows best in community. Tell a friend your small plan and let them remind you. Join a class, a club, a circle of service. When purpose has witnesses, it strays less easily. In Japan, people stand to one side on escalators, so the flow stays smooth. Ikigai is like that too. When you give time to what has meaning, life collides less. And if today all you can manage is 1 line, I want to, that already is a seed. Sow the right thing, wait for the season. The rest, time will do for you, quietly, surely. 8. Eating to 80% full. One afternoon in Naha, I sat in a small family restaurant. On the tray before me were a small bowl of rice, a piece of grilled fish just right, a warm cup of miso, crisp pickles, and a dish of seasonal vegetables. The elderly woman who owned the place added half a spoon of rice to my bowl, then smiled. Hara Hachi boo, stop at 8 parts out of 10. Her words were as light as sea breeze, yet carried a philosophy that had sustained Okinawa for generations. Restraint not from scarcity, but from respect for the body. Stopping at the right moment is what makes it deep, she added, as if placing a small stone in the palm of my hand. 80% is not a calculation, it is a feeling. It is that moment when you could take 2 or 3 more bites, but choose to set down your chopsticks, giving the stomach time to send its signal to the brain. When we slow our eating, the sweetness of vegetables, the clean richness of tofu, the warm savor of fish, all have space to reveal themselves. When we stop, the body breathes easier, blood sugar steadies. Hara Hachi Bu does not demand iron discipline. It invites a softer courage. Enough is beautiful, a short proverb reminding us that pleasure should not spill into excess. I learned to practice it through very ordinary gestures. Begin the meal with a sip of warm water or a few boiled greens to wake the stomach. Serve food in smaller bowls because the eyes eat more than the belly. Small bowls teach the eyes humility. Midway through the meal, put chopsticks down for a minute and ask, has hunger eased, or is it only the tongue wanting to wander? If craving lingers, pour green tea and give the mouth a different kind of warmth. When cooking, I let the table speak the voice of Ichiju Sansai 1 soup, 3 dishes, so the sense of variety does not push me toward more. Full before stuffed, I post in my mind like a friendly traffic sign. Hara Hachibu flows with the seasons. Spring brings lightness, summer brings coolness, autumn permits gentle richness, winter embraces depth. Eating with the seasons softens appetite, making it easier to stop at 80% because the body has received what it was waiting for. In Okinawa, elders still eat sweet potatoes, soy, leafy greens, meat only in portions small enough to let umami lift other flavors. They do not diet, they eat as the waves move, coming and going, not crashing like storms. That rhythm carries the day evenly, without afternoon crashes from blood sugar spikes, without sluggishness from an overloaded lunch. In the abundant cities of the West, where portions double just because the plates are large, Hara Hachi Bu feels like a countercultural kindness. You do not need to fight the world. You only need to negotiate with your spoon. Start by reducing sauce by 1/3, doubling vegetables, keeping protein steady. Choose a smaller takeout box so leftovers do not become a second unconscious meal at 10 p.m. And if dining with friends, agree from the start. At 80%, all stop, pour tea, and share one more story. With companions, restraint becomes joy, not sacrifice. The condition for 80% is rhythm. Sit upright, put the spoon down between bites, take 3 breaths before reaching again. Listen for the warmth spreading into your belly as the signal enough. Practice telling apart stomach hunger and emotional hunger. If it is emotional, drink hot soup, walk 5 minutes, call a friend. Do not force the stomach to solve the heart's question. Listen before filling. That phrase has rescued me from many meals eaten only to forget fatigue. Some worry, does eating less mean lacking? Hara Hachi Bu is not about shortage. It is about wise distribution. 8 parts still provide enough protein, healthy fats, complex starch. By reducing excess sugar, grease, fried weight, the body no longer must rescue itself after the meal. The digestive system is free for subtler work, absorption, repair, rest. You may find sleep arriving earlier, mornings lighter, skin less gray from overworked nights. Most of all, the mindset of leaving room for tomorrow slips into every corner of life, stopping work at a good passage, pausing conversation while still wanting to meet again, ending exercise at a point that invites return. Restraint at the table teaches restraint in living. Tonight, when you sit at the table, try a simple gesture. Pour tea first. Look at the meal as if it were a landscape and choose a slower rhythm to begin. At 80%, smile and stop, as though closing a door with gentle hands. Leave one part for peace. That little proverb will follow you from the table into the long road of a day lighter, clearer, and warmer. 9. Regular health checkups. One early autumn morning in Tokyo, I followed the crowd into a white building with a small sign, Kenshin Health Checkup. There was no drama of an emergency ward, only the sound of measured footsteps and the faint scent of antiseptic. An attendant bowed and handed me a form. I walked through rooms as if passing mirrors that reached deeper than the surface. Weight, blood pressure, blood, eyes, heart, lungs. Everything was swift, orderly, polite to the point of feeling, comforting. I realized then, for the Japanese, caring for health is not something you do after fatigue, but a quiet ritual like changing a toothbrush, like refreshing water for a plant. Prevention is better than cure, a saying everyone knows, here practiced as a way of life. In Japanese, a general checkup is called ningen doc, a human doc. The image is beautiful. Once a year you bring your body, like a ship, back to harbor, scrape away barnacles, oil the joints, check the bow for cracks, then set out again in peace. When we are healthy, we believe the ship will sail forever. But the sea is salty, winds change, and time always leaves salt marks on the wood. A checkup offers numbers that speak: blood pressure, cholesterol, blood sugar, liver enzymes, bone density. These small lines and charts are a captain's log. Measure to know to change, a short phrase that can save many long years. I remember the first time I brought a small booklet of family history. A grandfather with high blood pressure, a mother with cholesterol slightly raised, myself with occasional insomnia. The doctor glanced through, then asked a few questions about desk work, the habit of tea instead of coffee, how many steps a day, whether I soaked in hot baths each night. I realized that the wise habits we often speak of, walking, green tea, Ofuro, eating moderately, all converge in this white room. They bend the numbers toward kindness. A health checkup, in one sense, is a dialogue between habits and data. Gentle with yesterday, clear for tomorrow, a thin sheet of results suddenly heavy with meaning. In Japan, many companies give paid leave for employees to go to checkups. Schools measure eyesight, spine, height, weight for children. Local councils send mobile vans to test bone density for the elderly. This collective effort makes health not just an individual concern. It becomes culture, like keeping to one side of the escalator, like washing before stepping into an Ofuro. I think of car-bound Western cities, where people often visit hospitals only when the body is already shouting. We do not lack willpower, we lack a calendar. So let us make one a fixed date each year, the birthday of the body. An appointment with yourself, the most important appointment of all. The best checkups are prepared ones. A week before, I sleep earlier, eat lighter, drink water, keep up movement. The night before, I set out my insurance card, the list of medicines I take, the questions I want to ask, and a pen. In the morning, I walk to the clinic if possible, letting the heart beat steady, the mind clear. In the waiting room, I do not fold myself into my phone. I listen to my breath, thank the body that has carried me through so many seasons. I remind myself, to know early is to live lightly. Knowledge is not for worry, but to turn the wheel while the road is still wide. Results are not always perfect. One year, my liver enzymes rose. The doctor asked about alcohol. I shook my head and smiled. He said perhaps late nights and stress. We agreed on a 3-month plan, one extra shaded detour while walking, screens off 15 minutes earlier, one more serving of lean fish, one fewer late-night meals. 3 months later, the numbers eased. It was these imperfect moments that taught me. The body does not ask us to excel. It asks us to listen, slow but steady. The map of health is not a straight line, but a mountain path, climbed with even breath. Wherever you live, systems may differ, but the ritual can be the same. Ask your insurance about a general checkup. Make the appointment today. Invite a loved one so it becomes a shared ritual, like going to an onsen, except this bath is numbers. Afterward, take a walk in the park, drink green tea, open the results, underline 3 things: what to keep, what to lessen, what to add. Do not carry the whole mountain of change. Choose one easy action and repeat it. Small but steady. The The rhythm that saved us in the bathroom, at the table, now saves us in the clinic. That evening, when I filed the results into a folder, I felt a lightness in the chest, like after cleaning a closet. What remained was only what was needed, plus a clear plan. A regular health checkup, in the end, is not about stamping healthy or unhealthy. It is about continuing the life you cherish, with fewer wasted worries. We cannot control every variable, but we can control our calendar. And each time I write down the date for next year's appointment, I hear a quiet promise: to honor life through numbers. 10. Living slowly and savoring the moment. In the morning, I place a cup of tea on the wooden table and slide my chair back half a hand's width, leaving a small pocket of space. That space, the Japanese call it ma, is not emptiness. It is where breath passes through, where light pours in, where a new day can open without collision. I realize then, living slowly is not pulling the brakes on life. Living slowly is widening the space between two busy beats so the heart's voice can be heard. Slow to be deep, I whisper to myself, as if laying a small stone in a rushing stream. The slower rhythm begins with nameless rituals. When I pour tea, I do not chase the steam. I watch the bubbles dissolve, hear the cup tap softly against its saucer. When I step into the street, I do not try to outpace the crowd. I adjust the strap on my backpack, open my shoulders, notice that the morning breeze is cooler than I thought. When I wait at a light, I do not reach for my phone. I close my eyes for a beat and hear the cars pass like distant rain. These gestures are grains of sand, but together they build a shore. Fewer things, but whole. A day is whole not because of many check marks, but because each act is carried to its true end, even if only tying a shoelace straight. In Japan, slowness speaks in the language of water and fire. In the Ofuro, one washes before soaking, so tranquility arrives in order, body first, mind after. On the sidewalk, one side is left for standing, the other side for those in haste, a courtesy to the rhythm of others. In the tea room, host and guest leaves silence intact, not for lack of words, but to honor the voice of quiet. I bring these three languages home, clear the desk before work, leave space for others in my schedule, and frame moments of focus with stillness. Empty space speaks, a small note taped beside my screen. When I live slowly, time does not stretch. It simply stops shattering. I divide my day into islands: 25 minutes of work, 5 minutes of breath, 50 minutes of effort, 10 minutes of walking, lungs filled to their roots. I choose one main task for the morning, writing a few pages, solving one hard problem, and guard it from intrusions. At lunch, I eat 2 bites slower, set chopsticks down to ask, still hungry or only the habit of hunger? By afternoon, I soften my pace, reply to letters with gentler tones. At night, I dim the blue light, surround the room with warm yellow. A steady rhythm brings ease. It sounds simple, but each time I follow it, the body nods in agreement. Living slowly is not fleeing ambition. It is arriving on time to ambition with heels unbroken. I practice saying no to meetings without soul, no to headlines that promise more than they deliver, no to tasks that only parade busyness. Each no opens a yes. Yes to time with loved ones, yes to space for a new idea, yes to a surplus of kindness for myself. When the calendar thins by half a square, creativity grows an extra layer. Less to have more, a paradox, but life confirms it. I learn also to savor moments as an art of the senses. Walking, I count steps with breath, 4 steps inhaling, 6 steps exhaling. Drinking tea, I notice warmth on the tongue drifting down to the chest. Working, I choose a single wordless song, repeating like a thread through the hour. Meeting a friend, I tuck the phone away and look them in the eye as I speak the first sentence. None of these make me instantly more productive. They simply return to the present its right to exist. And when the present exists, the future worries less. On days when the city is too loud, I seek nature like a familiar song. A park lined with ginkgo, a riverbank of wind, a maple outside the door. I stand still for 2 minutes, letting sound flow through me like water. There, I remember something I know but often forget. Living slowly is not about where I am. It is about where I place my heart. Here and enough. 4 short words, a simple anchor. At night, I write 3 lines of gratitude. A meal that was enough, a conversation unhurried, a sentence that landed just right. I close the notebook, turn off the light, pour warm water, step onto the balcony for one more breath. The day has ended, yet seems to leave behind a trace of gentleness. I smile. Living slowly does not slow me down. It only carries me through the day without abandoning myself. And in the stillness before sleep, the small phrase returns as a lullaby. Slow to see, slow to understand, slow to love. If right now you are sitting a little stiller, breathing a little deeper, that is already a beautiful beginning. You do not need to rush to become someone else. You only need to return to yourself, simpler, clearer, and enough. Keep one small ritual for tonight. Put away one object, pour a cup of warm water, write 3 lines of gratitude. Just a little, but steady. Then allow the quiet that follows these gestures to do its own healing work. Tomorrow, when you step outside, choose a path with trees, slow half a beat to hear your shoes touch the ground. When you return, wipe the table gently, dim the light, let the room know you are present. Do not demand a brilliant result, demand only faithfulness to small things. Minimalist living is not a battle with the outside world. It is a gentle covenant with your own heart. I will set aside what clouds me, so what remains may shine. And if at times you falter, return to the breath. Inhale, acknowledge. Exhale, release. One day you will realize, peace does not arrive like a festival. It arrives like morning light. Not loud, yet enough. If these past minutes touched you in a quiet and deep way, I invite you to stay. Press. Like so this signal may reach those who need it. Subscribe so that each week we share a gentle meeting. And in the comments, tell me one small ritual you want to begin tonight. I will read slowly and reply kindly. I will see you at the next pause where there is less, yet more.